So if inflation is coming down, then why does everything still seem so expensive? Over the last few years, we've seen the stories of inflation. We've seen the prices go up. It has been really tough for a lot of people to see the prices of everything rise faster than their wages have risen. And that continues to this day. Wages are not rising as fast as inflation. So essentially, over the last few years, we have become poorer and poorer. How much poorer? About 20%. Over the last 3 years, inflation has been a cumulative of 22%. In 2018, it was just 1.9%, around the 2% target that the Fed shoots for. In 2019, it was 2.3. 2020 is 1.4, and then the pandemic, or rather the response to the pandemic happened, and inflation shot up on average 7% for that year. It got as high as over 9% in 2021. And then in 2022, it was 6.5, and then the Fed started jacking up interest rates, and the inflation rate gradually went down, and now it is 3.1. So it is coming down. So you see in the news that inflation is coming down, everything is great, we're all super happy, but we still can't afford anything because the prices are still high. Why? Because we need to understand the difference between disinflation and deflation. Deflation means the prices of everything in general are going down, which hasn't happened for a long, long time. So the last time we actually had deflation, where the prices generally were going down, was after the great financial crisis in 2009, where we had briefly a negative annual inflation rate of, or an annual inflation rate of negative 0.3. So it hasn't happened in almost 15 years. What we are experiencing now is not deflation, it is disinflation, which means the prices of things are still going up, but at a slower rate. They're not going up at 9% anymore, but they're going up still at over 3%. So why are things still so expensive? Because inflation is cumulative. Over the last few years, we've seen inflation total of over 20%, about 22% over the last 3 or 4 years. When we add that up, every year you've got 5% and 9% and 7% and 3%. If you add those up, that means the prices of things keep going up by that amount every single year, and they don't come down. When you look at the CPI readings that come out, you see they break it down by categories, and within those categories, things might go up or go down, but the general rate of inflation is still high, and the U.S. hasn't come down as much as other countries. We are still one of the countries with the highest rates of inflation. So President Biden tweeted out on January 29th that inflation is coming down, and then about a week later, we got the reading that showed that it's actually going back up. He said that the US has lower inflation than any other major economy in the world, which isn't quite true. There are a few countries that have higher inflation. Canada, 3.1, South Korea, 3.2, Japan, 2.9, and China, negative 0.3. And those are all in the last couple of months. So we still have our work cut out for you. So when you think about inflation, think about it as a cumulative term. The prices keep going up, and generally they don't come down, with the exception of some things like technology. The prices of goods in the technology sector tend to come down because of innovation. So anything that is innovation related, where technology like AI or manufacturing processes or things that are technology driven tend to drive the prices down. That's why the cost of your big screen TV that you bought 3 years ago is a lot cheaper now than it was 3 years ago, and the TV is a lot better because of innovation, because the prices, the innovation and the technology advances that happen are able to bring the prices down for those items.